Our friend says, I know you're carnivore, but can you share exactly what you eat? Is it basically the same thing every day? I really think you're onto something. First off, I would not say that I'm carnivore at all. Definitely ketovore. Definitely carnivore mixed in with some good shit. I did the whole elimination thing. I eliminated the coffee, the tea, anything that had any kind of plants in it, to see if any of those things were bothering me. I eliminated dairy, all that stuff, and really the biggest thing I was hoping for was to see if my hands, my joints, got any relief, if there was any difference. And for the most part, no. Now, one interesting thing that did happen, I got some of those little baby carrots from my dog, from my puppy, and he wasn't really feeling them because he's bougie and picky. So I started just going at these baby carrots because I hadn't had them in forever, and they taste so good to me. And then the next day, let's just say, I don't think I'll be eating baby carrots like that ever again, because I think I was really feeling it more so, kind of inflammation in my hands. So that's one thing. But back to elimination, and then I started introducing things back in. I started buying raw milk. I was making my own ice cream with egg yolks and protein powder. I started introducing things that I enjoyed, because that's, part of life is, things that you enjoy. And I will say this also. This is just one thing I'm going to throw in here right now that will have a part 2 coming. And this is just me getting up there in years. I don't like saying the O word. But 10 years ago, if I would have done carnivore, I would have been pretty ripped, pretty lean, pretty, and I haven't gotten that way this time around. And it's been a big, huge question mark, what's going on? I've still maintained a decent amount of muscle, which, yay, that's all I care about. But back in the day when I was doing photo shoots and I would carb deplete to get really super lean, it worked. So when I see my new doctor coming up this month, because I fired my old one because he wanted to put me on statins and tell me that my cholesterol is high, and I wanted to tell him a few other things, but I'm sure it would get, me in trouble. So let's get down to what I eat in a day. Now, again, I hesitated making this video because you could say I've kind of been in a transitioning phase of going from 3 meals to now 2 meals a day. You saw when I first went carnivore, I was having a big heaping breakfast of like 4 or 5 eggs, whole eggs, lots of bacon, lots of sausage, and now I'm kind of getting rid of all of that. And you know, if you followed me, you've seen my videos of me adding butter to my coffee and my tea to see, if it's the coffee that's giving me energy or the butter that's giving me energy. That's a whole nother rabbit hole that I went down. So right now, this is week 2 where I'm not eating breakfast anymore. I get up in the morning and I make my coffee in my 32-ounce mug. I put a decent amount of butter in there. I have heavy whipping cream that has, 0 sugar, 0 carbs. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of protein powder in there for flavor. And that's what I take to work, and I don't feel tired or hungry at all. And this has been an interesting thing too, is that I'll go to lunch and I'll think to myself, all right, it's time to have a decent amount of roast or, hamburger, meat, whatever. And I'm thinking I'm ready to just put away a lot of food, because I usually can eat a huge amount of food. But I'll go to lunch and it's just I'll eat a little bit and that's it. I don't want more, and that's been a weird experiment for me. Because again, usually, and I'm thinking, well, I guess I should stop eating because I really don't want to eat anymore. And this is weird, and maybe I should listen to my body. But at the same time, I'm thinking, am I getting enough protein to build muscle? So we're still in the testing phases right now. So I'll eat as much as I want, but if I don't feel like eating anymore, then I just stop. So that's, just kind of, and I do enjoy, I find, sauces or whatever that have zero seed oils. That's the biggest thing, no seed oils. Seed oils cause sunburns. That's another video. But I'll find a good organic ketchup that doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup. And a lot of people are like, oh, that's not carnivore. And I'm just like, hey, fuck off with your rules. Because after you eliminate, you introduce things like, people are so hung up on rules and labels. And so that's what I'll do for lunch. And then after I've had my coffee, I brew some dried up elderberries, and I make my own elderberry tea, if you want to call it that, with my collagen in it and some lemon juice to give it flavor, and some, continuing to, hydrate throughout the day. And so I'll have that, and my lunch is usually like at 11 o'clock in the morning. Whatever, it's just how it is. And then I usually don't eat until like 7, depending on when I finish up at the gym. And then that evening meal, I really try to get a decent amount of meat. So whether it be, if I'm having burgers, I'll probably have 4 or 5 burgers. But here's the thing. Here's the whole keto thing. And this is what I love to do. It's like a cheat meal, but it's not really cheating. So I'll get really good romaine lettuce that has the big leaves, and I'll use the leaves as, like a taco shell. And I'll get, good avocado, and I'll cut that up, and then I'll get some like raw cheese. And then, like I said, I've done a video on the kind of sauces that I use, and I'll just stuff the meat in those, and I just make these lettuce wraps every evening. And to me, it's just like, it's like other people's version of pizza. It's like, I look forward to it. I love it. Sometimes I get shaved steak, other times I just make burgers, other times just whatever red meat. Now, I do love to get ground up lamb, but only if it's on sale. I do love to eat bison or wild boar. Meat is amazing, but that's it. Now, disclosure here, and this is kind of a summertime thing, and I saw a video on the fact that fructose can be very addictive. I get that, sugar, fructose, addictive, but lately in the summertime, and it's probably because of the heat, and I don't do it every day. I don't do it every night. Just when I'm feeling like it, I'll buy frozen fruit at the grocery store, or I'll buy grapes and I'll freeze them, and that is just, eating that is like my version, someone's version of eating ice cream or candy or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, that's a lot of carbs, and then the other side of me is like, it's fruit. I'm not gonna worry about that. Last year I ate so much fruit, it was ridiculous. I don't think it made a difference in anything. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is the reduction of sodium. So since I'm not having the bacon and sausage in the morning, that's cutting back on sodium. I'm not salting my food as much as I was. I think when you're starting carnivore, they suggest that you do get a decent amount of sodium, and which I wasn't before. Sodium's never been anything that I worried about. I was never someone who was like, oh, this needs salt, I'm gonna salt, don't care. But now that my body's adjusted to carnivore or ketovore, I'm gonna start substantially cutting out sodium, just to see if I notice anything, just to see if I feel different, again, I'm always learning, always researching, always experimenting, and this is where I'm at this point. So hopefully that gives you kind of just an idea of what I'm doing. If you follow me, you see I constantly post, progress videos, pictures, leanness, muscularity, all that good stuff. So if that's what you're interested in, follow, share, and if you have any other questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them.